Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about, is it 4? Let me look at my notes. 4 ways that you can get over a breakup, move seamlessly through a breakup to get ready for your next relationship. If you're interested in a video like that, please keep watching. So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Like I said, in this video, I want to talk about how to get over a breakup and move seamlessly. Well, I can't guarantee seamless, but to move in a more fluid way into your next relationship. If you do not know who I am, my name is Amber Turner, and I am the author of You Choose Your Outfit, with outfit being the metaphor for your reality and or experience. I'm also the CEO of the Censored Apparel brand, and we believe in being bold, being loud, and being confident. And so in this video, I wanted to share some insights, some personal insights on moving through a breakup, getting over a breakup, and some advice I had, advice that I've gotten over the years that I thought was pretty G, that I want to share in this video too, and how it's helped me get over some of my heartbreaks and how perhaps it can help you get through a breakup as well. So the first point that I want to make in this video is self-reflection. And this is so important, especially if you have intentions on moving into another relationship in the future, which I hope you do. But self-reflection is so important because at the end of the day, you know, even if we were in a relationship where we felt like we were mistreated, we have to take accountability for our part in it. It might not be so evident that we had some part in it, but you do. You have to take responsibility for your part in the part that you played in it. Now, with that being said, I actually was on a hike this weekend, which was pretty interesting, and I came across someone that we just ended up talking, and one of the things we were talking about was past relationships and taking responsibility and accountability for our parts in it. And so one of the things that I concluded in this conversation, I actually came to this conclusion prior to this conversation, but really came, wind, come on, wind, okay, that I really came down to the conclusion was that I really had to take responsibility and accountability for my part in it, even though there was some misbehavior, let's just say that. But what part of me allowed myself to continue to put up with that misbehavior? And so I had to look within myself, like what part of me, perhaps I didn't feel worthy or felt undeserving or whatever the case is, because I continued to put myself in that situation. I can't control anyone else's behavior. The only person I can control is myself. And so what can I take responsibility and accountability for? The fact that I kept putting myself in that situation over and over again. And so I have to look at that, understand that that does say something about me. What kind of healing do I need to do about that? Because that is saying something about me. So actually taking accountability, responsibility, self-reflection about things that you could have done better. Because at the end of the day, even though you might feel like the other person is responsible for the breakup, there is something that you can take responsibility for and accountability for. And so wanting to heal those aspects of yourself before you start moving in or have intentions on moving into another relationship is so important. And so I also want to add something really interesting in this that I found very insightful, that I can't remember this goddess's name, but there's a goddess in mythology that anytime that she's a goddess of love or something like that, and I would look it up right now, but my computer's being funny right now, but she is the goddess of love. And one of the things that she would do after she would go on her love escapades is actually go back to her hometown and bathe in this river and purify herself to virginity again. Now that is symbolic, obviously, but it's talking about the importance of actually cleansing yourself of all of that baggage, or at least trying to, because sometimes it's hard to get rid of all that baggage. We carry it on into our next relationship. But it's important to do the healing process and the cleansing and understanding our responsibility and accountability in that situation. And so I found that very insightful and interesting. And it's very, very important to do that cleansing process before you have intentions on moving on into another relationship. And so another point that I want to make in this video is that, okay, so back a long time ago when I was in the corporate world and I was working for the federal government, I was going through a hard time. And one of the pieces of advice that my girlfriend gave me at the time, she said, never leave your house looking, well, she said it in these words, and I'll just say what she said. Always from this point forward, because I was feeling really low about myself, you never leave your house without feeling like a bad bitch. And I just love that. It does help. It really, really does. When you put yourself together, you do your makeup, you do your hair, you put on a nice outfit, and it just makes you feel better. Feeling good about yourself is so, so important. And so ever since then, I remember she told me, and I was just crying. I remember she said that, and she was just like, girl, get yourself together and put yourself together. And I was just bawling. But ever since that day, that just resonated with me. And it's so true, because I know personally, after a lot of breakups, and you know, it's important to feel good about yourself. But it really is important to put yourself together and feel good about yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that sometimes people are like, especially if it's a long-term relationship, a marriage or something like that, and you start, you put yourself together, they're like, well, like, she never really cared about that person anyways, or he didn't care about her anyways. But it's not even about that. Because you hurt, you have to do things that make you feel good about yourself. And putting yourself together and doing your hair, your makeup, your nails, and all those things really helps in moving forward. And so the third point that I want to make in this video is support groups. And support groups are so important. And I know with things the way that they are right now, it's hard to get together with your girlfriends or your homeboys and things like that. But it is important to have support in your life. And for me, I leaned heavily on my family. And it's so important, because you have to be able to talk about things sometimes. Talk about it, let it go, don't dwell on it. But talk about it in a safe space. And support groups, friends, family, those are typically safe spaces. I mean, it's not all the time, I'm not gonna lie, but for me, my family is my safe space. And being able to open up and actually be vulnerable and let it out is so important in moving forward. I remember I was so sad one day, and I went to the grocery store, and I just couldn't help it. I was just crying. And the lady, she was asking me about what was wrong, and I gave her a brief synopsis, like nothing in depth or anything. I just told her, I'm having a hard time getting over something. And one of the things she was telling me, she was like, you definitely need to align yourself with support groups with other women that are going through the same thing. It's so important. And that's one thing that she said has helped her in moving through her divorce. And even though I didn't go the support group route, I leaned more on my family. I do see the value in support groups, and there's so many support groups out there, because I know that some people don't feel, either they don't have family that they feel comfortable with sharing those kind of parts and aspects of themselves, or friends, it's tough. Sometimes we come from families, or we have friends that just don't understand, or they do understand but they don't want to go there. it's hard sometimes, and I understand even from their perspective that it's hard for them as well, because then they have to be vulnerable to try to help you move through whatever you're going through. So it can be tough on them as well. So totally understand that it can be hard. So if you can't lean on friends and family, definitely look into support groups as well. So the fourth and final point that I want to make in this video is to read, and specifically read self-help books. I know that there is so much growth that can come from a breakup. So much growth if you put the time and energy into it. And like I was saying in the first point, having that self-reflection, cleansing, and taking responsibility and accountability for your part is going to help you move through your breakup. Now, when you take accountability and responsibility, what things could you have done better? And so that's where self-help books come into play. I found this very interesting. I came across a gentleman, and because I love self-help books, I have a self-help book. It's called You Choose Your Outfit, just saying. But I came across this gentleman, and he was saying that he doesn't read self-help. I was saying something like, what kind of books you read? And I'm like, do you read self-help books? He's like, I don't need to read self-help books. I'm so strong in who I am. But here's the thing, and I challenge him on that. I'm gonna just say that. But here's the thing, when it comes to self-help and improving yourself, it's not that something is wrong with you, because we are all human and we all have our faults. We all have vices. We all have things that we can't, we're not perfect. So it's not so much about you're broken, okay? You're not broken. We all have things that we've encountered in childhood, we've encountered in other relationships, prior relationships. It's about how can we do the healing? How can we improve? How can we improve our communication? How can we improve how we react to certain things? And there's always improvement that can happen. And you definitely don't want to move forward in another relationship bringing that same stuff into the next relationship. You want to be better. You want to be better and improved. You're not broken though, but we can always improve on something. So for me, reading self-help books and really taking a deep dive in what can I do better, because I'm in competition with myself and I want to be the best version of myself, especially moving forward, and I want to bring the best version of myself moving forward in my next relationship. And so being able to understand and get different insights, because that's really what self-help books are, is getting different insights on life. Doesn't mean you have to take the advice. People read all the time and don't take the advice, but just being open and receptive of how can I do things better. Maybe I can be better at communicating. Maybe I should have done this a certain way, or whatever the case is. But it's just about being open and receptive. That is a strong recommendation of mine, is self-help books, okay? You're not broken, but we can always improve on ourselves, period. And so that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I do videos on business, life, and everything in between. I'm also the author. Did I introduce myself? I did. I know that going through breakups, and whether it's like a relationship or a marriage, you're going through a divorce, whatever the case is tough. It really, really is. But self-reflection, especially starting off, first thing, self-reflection, cleansing, healing, especially if it was a really rough relationship. Healing is so important. Because I know that sometimes people have this mentality of like, okay, I just want to forget about that and I'm just going to move on. But you're just bringing that stuff to the next one. I'm just saying, cleanse. And I just thought that whole metaphor of the goddess, I don't even know her name, sorry, my computer's not working right now, but how she would go home and bathe in her home river, or whatever it is such a beautiful metaphor for what we should be doing after a breakup, is to cleanse, heal, and learn. There's a lesson in everything. If you might not see it clearly, but if you take a really good look, it's there. It's there. So anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, I will check you guys in the next video. Peace.